to create uh, so what is a driver and what are the things you want to do inside the driver, what is the util. So this everything we saw that. So due to that the Spark setup problem, explain so practically how it will work. So they probably I done all most of the setup. So I'm going to take one example. So that for example one CSV data I'm going to take. So that using that CSV data, how I can create a data frame and what are the operations I can able to do. The same operations, if I'm creating the same top of the CSV, I try to create a RDD and the same kind of operations, how we can do that RDD. The code wise to handling that CSV and that requirement, how the code will be differ for data frame and RDD. So the same, like we will see that some deep level in the data frame and RDD. This is one thing we are going to see today. So this is the main for us. Continuous the last session. Is it everyone able to hear me? No, so I'm not talking to myself. Correct?
Yes, Dinesh, we are able to hear you.
Yeah, yeah. The continue of the last sessions. So we are going to see very detail about the what is the purpose for the util and what's the purpose for the driver. I'm going to show the practical one how the real-time project will work. Everything. Okay. Is it okay? This is that today we're going to see. This is our agenda. This class. This we have agenda for this class. This particular class today class. Is it okay for everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So first of all, I that day again I'll come back that how to create a project in IntelliJ. So this is the way we can. So the last session we discussed about how to create a project in uh, IntelliJ. So when we create a project, we have the two different kind of dependency repository. So dependency repository, what does it mean by dependency repository means? For example, in this project, I'm going to use a Spark. In this project, I'm going to use a MySQL. And any other dependency if I'm using means I need library jar to connect the particular environment. For example, if you want to, I need to connect in my as part of my Spark project. If I need to connect MySQL, I need the MySQL library jars. Then using that jar only, I'm able to connect my MySQL drivers, MySQL server, anything. Okay. So each and every, I think, even if you see any project, no, if you if you want if you want to connect some third-party tool or third-party server, you need that ODBC or JDBC driver. So nothing but then that library drivers. Okay. So from the Spark, if you want to connect any environment, any tool, any framework like MySQL or Spark or any tool, you need that library. You need a jar in a library. So those that libraries, those jars will already available in the repository as an SBD repository and Maven repository. That means all the jars, whatever the Spark you are using, all the jars, maximum 90% of jars available in the Maven and the SBD repository. So what you want to do to use that jar means, so you need to add a code in your. So whenever you're creating the first time you're creating a Spark project in IntelliJ, you need to decide whether you are going to for Maven project or SBD project. Okay. If I'm creating a SBD project, this is the way I'll have a SBD project. This is my SBT file. So in this SBT file, for example, I'm adding a dependency. Right now, I have added dependency Spark Core and Spark SQL. So in the same way, for example, if I'm using a MySQL, I need to add a dependency on MySQL dependency. If I'm using that Oracle, I need to add a dependency on Oracle dependency. So if you want to know that how the MySQL dependency, you know that how you can know the MySQL dependency means. So is it everyone able to see my Chrome, or else you can able to see only that my IntelliJ?
Able to see only IntelliJ.
IntelliJ, okay, 1 minute. I'll reshare. I think one time I'm able to see only. I'm able to see only one. Okay. Then I'll switch to. Okay. Now I'm in my Chrome. Is it able to see?
Yes, Dinesh.
Yeah, okay. So for example, if I want to connect a MySQL in my project, okay, so I need to know what is that SBT dependency I want to use. The first, I'll show that what is the difference between the SBT dependency and Maven dependency. Okay, so everyone already saw that how the SBT dependency is there. Okay, the same kind of Maven project if I have created. So where if you're creating a SBT project, I will have the SBT assemble.sbt. That is a build.sbt, that is a file I have. So if I'm creating a Maven project, the same way instead of the build.sbt, I will have the pom.xml that they will call as a pom.xml. Okay, so all the dependency you want to enter in that XML format only. Also, yeah, this is a way you want to add your dependency. So that dependency should be in a XML format. Okay. So now the Maven repository, it is we have the pom.xml, and that SBT repository we have the build.sbt. Okay. The build.sbt is nothing but the kind of script kind of code. It will be line by line, and that Maven for pom.xml, it will have the XML files. Okay. So now I'll open again my Google, and I need a dependency for MySQL. Okay, so if I want to know that what a dependency I want to use, just you can enter MySQL Maven dependency or SBT dependency, whatever. Okay, if you're using a Maven, you can put a Maven dependency. If you're using a SBT, you can put a SBT dependency. So what is a SBT dependency I want to use for the to connect the MySQL? I'll go inside. Okay, so here if you're able to see, so this is for the SBT dependency. If I'm adding this command for this is at MySQL version 5.1.6. so if you want this version you can use other whatever version you want, whatever versions you have in a MySQL the server what will be original version, just you can change the version name. So if I want to add, just I can add this particular line into my IntelliJ. Okay, the same way if it is a Maven dependency, just I will open the Maven tab. So the same the MySQL dependency. If you again I go to the MySQL SBT, so what is the dependency they mentioned? What is the dependency name? MySQL, and what jar I want to download MySQL connect.jar, and the word what is the version we need. Okay, and the same way, same kind of information it's available in XML. That's the pom.xml. So this is the difference between the SBT and Maven. So whenever you're going to interact with a new framework or new environment, just you want to pick that your SBT code, whatever the SBT dependency code, and you need to add into your IntelliJ project. Okay, so I'll go to that my IntelliJ project. Just let me know once you able to see that IntelliJ project. Any question about this Maven and SBT, because so whenever you're going to interview, the first question, so they may ask like in your project what repository you have used. You should not get any confused like whether Maven or SBT. If it is SBT, go with SBT. If you have very strong knowledge on SBT, for example, if you're able to understand very easily on SBT, go with SBT, and you can say that I use the SBT repository. But you should know what is the difference between the Maven. When we use the Maven repository, how the your project structure will be. When we use that SBT repository, how your project structure will be. So that knowledge you should have. Okay. In that part, any question to understanding that Maven on SBT?
ஜி இது ஹைவுக்கு அதே போல வந்து ஏதாவது ரெபாசிட்டரி ஆட் பண்ற மாதிரி வரும், டிபெண்டன்சி ஆட் பண்ற மாதிரி இருக்கும். ஹைவ் கனெக்ட்
same way you can add. The same way, for example, in your Hive control, just go and search in your Google. So what is that Hive dependency, SBT dependency? If you put, you will get this one line code for SBT. If it is the Maven, you will get that XML kind. That's it. Just you want to comma separate, you want to add.
ஓகே.
So if I don't want to add now, because if I am adding again, it will be re-import everything. It will take time. So that's the purpose I didn't add. Okay. So here you want to mention version everything. Okay. So that's it. So when you're creating the project, whether you are creating SBT or Maven, So that it might be one of the initial interview questions when you talk about your project. You go to my charge is getting low. 1 minute, I'll connect that charge. 1 minute.
What is highly preferred in the practical environment? No?
Yeah, I'm back. So any question? Any question?
Which one is highly preferred in the practical environment?
No. Your voice is cutting out. Sorry, go ahead again. So which one is? I see my understanding. Which one is preferred for that? The project environment, real-time project, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is not like a preferable. Like most of the people will go with the Maven. I have seen that most of the people will go with the Maven because the who had experience in the Java, no. So the Java have the most of the Maven repository only. So most of the project they will go with Maven, but SBT also it's not a bad. Okay. So if I take our own project, our project entire project, we use the SBT only. So you can, and the interview, when you ask the interviewer, you can say SBT also. It's not a problem. But I've seen most of the project they will go with Maven. I can say that percentage, like a 60% is Maven or 40% in SBT. But when you explain the interview, if you just collect some information about any one repository and go with very strict and go with that repository in an interview. Because in don't get confused in the interview whether I need to talk about Maven, SVD, don't get confused in that. Okay. So before interview, to make sure, so what is the repository you use, you're going to explain to interviewer to fix that the repository and you go with that repository. Don't get any. If you said in interview I'm using a Maven repository, it's not, you will not add any additional point. Okay, SBT, and that sense, interviewer point of view, SBT or Maven the same only, because in the code wise nothing going to change. Whether if it is a SBT project or Maven project, your Spark code is nothing going to change. So when you are creating a project, that time the structure will be changed. Maybe structure only will be changed, and that when you are adding a dependency, the how you are going to add dependency, the dependency part will be changed. But this is a one-time work only. So every time you will not, whenever you're doing some code change, no, you will not touch your repository file. Okay, that's only one time. So when you launch your project, when you create your project, that time only you need to you need to work on this repository part. Unless that you don't have any work on it. This is not it's not playing very important role. Whether it's Maven or SBT, you can go with any one repository. Don't get confused in that part. Okay. Any questions? Any questions? I hope we don't have any questions. Correct. So I'll go with the next part. The next part that day I explained like how the project structure going to be. Okay. So in the project structure in the main class and the Scala, inside the Scala I have created driver. So driver nothing but that is a main class, and util nothing but whatever the transformation you are doing, whatever the method you are creating, all the methods should be present under that util only. Okay. So now I'm opening my project. Okay. So it should not be extend app. Okay. So this is the for running purpose I have created. In original project, it should be the main class. Okay. And your all other codes should be under the inside the main class. So this is your driver, and this is your main class. Okay. So your project should be in this format only. Okay, the first step, so you need to create a Spark sessions. So since it is the 2.2 after the 2.0 versions, so in a Spark, your Spark session is the beginning gate. The Spark session is the initial gate for your project. Okay, you want to make sure that one. And if you go for that before earlier version of the 2.0, so there we have the multiple context like to work with the RDD, you have the Spark context, SQL context, and the Hive context. So now all everything is inbuilt in the under the Spark session. So Spark sessions now it's the initial gate for your Spark. Okay, so this is the way you want to launch your Spark session. For example, the people who had experience with to work with that Spark cell, no. So whenever if you see if you're able to notice that we notice that whenever launching a Spark cell, see the Spark session will be created and the Spark context. These both will be created automatically when you launch a Spark session. Okay, that means whenever you opening the Spark application, so when you launch a Spark cell, that means Spark application launch for your vision. Okay, Spark application launch for your Spark cell. So that means whenever you want to launch a Spark application, the Spark session is the gate for your Spark application. So the first step, you need to create a Spark session. You need to launch a Spark session. So here, what are the parameters we are passing to create a Spark session? Spark session, builder, master. Okay, here, what is the meaning for the local? What is the meaning for the local? And the local also again give the like a star also. Okay, so that means local means so the Spark cluster we have a different kind of the Spark engine. We have like a Spark supporting the Spark local engine and Spark to support a Yarn engine and Spark to support that one more repository is there. So mostly people use the local and the Yarn engine. So when you are building a project in the local, you might have mentioned the local star. That means whatever the server, whatever that cluster you have in the local cluster will be launched to execute your Spark application. Okay, that means you need to give a local. So if you want to use a Yarn, so instead of local, you need to give a master. Okay, that's it. If you give a master, then Yarn master will be launched. But in my local, I don't have a Yarn, so that is the purpose I can use the local star. But when you submit your project in your a cluster, no, your production cluster, you should use the master only. Then only the distributed will happen. Okay. And what is the purpose for the star? The star means if you give a local like this, okay, so the parallel task won't be launched. In this mission, only one core will take for this particular to run this particular Spark application. Okay. So when I gave a star, when I am using a star, the local, so now these applications allow to run the multiple cores. So when it allow to run the multiple cores, the multiple tasks can able to do in a Spark. Okay, so this is one, and that app name that depends on project. We can give it just any app name to this. Used to get that when you searching as your log into your Yarn, no, in your Yarn UI. So that time this Spark app name will help to search the information, to search the logs. Okay, that is the purpose for applications. Nothing different. Get or create again. So if it is Spark session earlier will be get, or else there will be create. So this is the syntax to create a Spark session. Any question on that? So again, I'll repeat, the Spark session used for to work the Spark data frame related operation. Okay. So now how to create a Spark context? The same way, I'll give a SC. Okay. Now in earlier 2.0 version, the Spark context also we have similar kind of syntax to create a Spark context. But after that, the 2.0 versions, we don't want to create a Spark context separately, because the Spark session itself contains the Spark context. Okay, so now how to get the Spark context? Spark session, dot Spark context. So now I can infer the Spark context from the Spark session. Any question on about the Spark session, Spark context? Because again, this is also an interview, okay, interview questions. So whenever you're going to explain your application, your project, so the interviewer might be asked like what is the data API you have used, like what's the context you have used, what's the data API you have used, whether that RDD API you have used or else data frame API you used. If it is data frame API, what is the context you have used? You should explain about a Spark session. So if it is RDD, you should explain about RDD, Spark context. Okay, any question on that? Okay, so now I'll go to first, I'll take an example. I have some data. Okay, I have some data. I'll go to take that first example in a data frame. The same thing I try to do with that RDD. So please try to understand that how I will, so what's the difference between the data frame and the Spark RDD? Okay, so if anyone not able to understand, just unmute and open up your question. Okay, so now how to read that? How to read the data frame from CSV? So this is a simple line. So actually, in a real-time project, this is not a preferable. You should not use in this way. Okay, whatever the project related. Okay. Here, my Spark should be implicit. I'll tell you why it's implicit. I'll tell you why it should be implicit. Okay, I'll tell you. Okay. Give a minute. Come back. And I said whatever that operational code we have, no, the Spark read. So those everything should be under the Spark bind. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is this thing I'm going to read from the CSV. Okay. To read from the CSV, this is a particular the line I'm going to write it as a separate method. Okay. So what is the purpose for this method? Okay, so I'll tell you. The first, I'll go to here and I need to input a same Spark session here also. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to create a method. Okay, so my method will be this is a common method to create a data frame from CSV. So now I'm going to create a DAF, read a CSV. Okay, and what are the arguments I will need? First, I need a HDFS path. Correct? I need that HDFS path. HDFS path. What is the data type? It will be a string. String. And so once I read from the CSV, what is the outcome from this this particular method? What is the return data type? Okay, so here what will be what need to return? I need to return as a data frame. Okay, I need to return as a data frame, and I'll give. So this is a way we need to create a method, any method. Okay. So now here, if you want to read from the CSV, so CSV, since it is that I'm going to work with the data frame. So what API I want to use? Spark session I want to use. So here I don't have any Spark session. I have created my Spark session in my main driver. Correct? I have created Spark session in my main driver, but I didn't create a Spark session in my util. So in see here, any application, any entire application, you can able to create only one Spark session, only one Spark, only one gate. That is only one Spark session. That Spark session will be drive entire your application. So how to get my Spark session from this main method to my util? Okay, so that is why I have created the implicity. That means implicity means this Spark session I can use in any of this entire project. In this entire project, how many the utils I have created, wherever I want, I can use that my Spark session. So here I give implicit, that same implicit try to call here also. So if I want to use inside this method, just I need to do that implicit. Implicit is Spark session. That means now whatever the Spark session I have created in driver, that will be implicit in this method also. So now I need to create data frame from the using a CSV. Where CSV df, okay, Spark session. What is the syntax to create a data frame from that CSV? Spark session read dot CSV, okay, and whatever the path I have passed, this path I need to give as a input here. Otherwise, okay. One minute, sorry. So we have two different. Inside we want to pass that header also. Format also I can give. Too many different method to create a data frame from CSV. Okay, this is also possible. Because I want to pass option header. I'll tell you what is the purpose for this option. Option schema. So from this CSV, so why I'm using header equal to true means whenever I use a header equal to true, the first row will consider as a header. The first row will consider as a header. If I didn't use the header equal to true, so my outcome data frame will be entire data will be column name will be represented as a C0, C1, C2. That means column 1, column 2, column 3. In that way, then we need to rename that. We need to create a schema. We need to assign the data frame. Okay. So that is one for that header option. Infer schema means like again from the CSV using the data that will be infer the schema. That means that will be infer your data type. In this particular columns, if have a integer, then that integer data type will be pick. If you have a string, that string data type will pick. So that will infer based on your data. So now I need to return that CSV df, correct? And here I use that CSV underscore df. Okay. So now in this method I need to call from here. So just here instead of this, I'll give that to my argument, my CSV path equal to. Please stop me if you have any questions, not to get anything. If I'm going faster, please stop me. Okay. So now I'm going to create a data frame. Val CSV df1 equal to. So now which is I have created under the my It's a spell mistake. I didn't. I used that util. I gave a splitter. Okay, just correct that one. Okay. And dot. So whatever the method I have created under that util, I got it. Correct. So here only one parameter I need to pass, which is the CSV path. Just I can pass the parameter CSV path. So now I'll comment this. I don't want this. So now just I want to show that what is that what happened with my data frame. Is it created or not? Anything I want to show it. Just I will run. Any questions meanwhile, because it will take a while to the first I'm getting first run. No? It will correct all the drivers, will check all the drivers, then after that. Meanwhile, you can interact that. Any questions on this? Any doubt? I think it is. Yeah. So this is a data frame I have created. Some product purchase and sale, Dell, HP, and IBM. So only 3 rows I have created. This is a data frame I have created. Any questions until this? Is it everyone clear? And before that, I want to know this. In this system, every old student, I think it seems like so many new students also, right? Out of the 7. Hello. Is it everyone able to hear me?
Yes, Dinesh, we are able to hear you.
Actually here seems like so how many students, the old students who are working with the Spark, who have started Spark, Hasim,
See, நான்
yes, everyone able to follow me. That's my primary question. Everyone able to follow me?
just
Okay. I hope I take answers. Everyone able to follow me. So so this is the way I'm creating a data frame. Okay. So now I want to do say any operations. So now I have created a data frame and I showed up. So nothing but this is that in the util tone, the first line is that E and second line it is the L. That means it's I'm doing an action. Okay. So here I didn't do any transformations. Just I'll try to do some transformation on top of this data frame. And for example, I'm going to calculate that profit. Okay, so I need to add one more column to profit. Correct. So I need to calculate from the purchase and sale. I need to calculate a profit. I need to add as a separate column. So then, yes, profit. So now I need to add the same CSV df1 dot. So if I want to add a new column, what is the transformation I want to use in a Spark? With column. With column and double quote, whatever the new column I want to add, the column name I'm giving. Profit. And what is the function I want to use to create a profit? So I want to import a simple function instead of doing that. Suppose I want to import a SQL functions, I'll import a SQL function like that. So all the Spark SQL related functions available under this package. So just we want to call that this package. Okay. So entire SQL functions are available in some of this package. I can call like this, and now I can call this my call. Call means nothing but column. Okay. So column, what is that? PUR purchase. Sorry. Sales minus purchase, correct? Save. So whether it is the string or integer, I don't know. Just I cast to the integer. Okay. So then I'll give a same way minus COL. PUR. Okay, so now I will take this one as my show. Just to wait and we'll see that what is the output I'll get. I'm getting a profit from the first row 2000 and second row 2000, third row 1000. Correct? So if I want to list out that product, whichever the product I got the less than thousand or less than thousand profit, very less profit. Okay. Otherwise, I want to do that order by low to high. So any transformations we can apply in this way. Okay. So for example, if you want to apply the filter, so which are the product I have 1,000 or less than 1,000 profit. So for that one, I need to apply the filter, and here I need to call the COL, and here I need to call the net profit. Less than or equal to 100,000. Sorry. Okay. So now just I will show this data frame. So what should be my output? So nothing but whenever talking about whenever you interact in data frame, just keep it in our mind. So that is one visual table, and that how the visual table we are doing query. Like a filter in this way only will work, and even the SQL filter also will work in this way only, correct? So even when if you want to calculate that profit in the SQL, this is the way you will perform in the SQL also. Seems like SQL only, it's just in your mind, just you think that is a visual table, so you're interacting with some visual table. Okay, so any question with the data frame? So the same, this kind of operation you try to do with, try to bring more transformations, and try to do with create a new data set, and try with this all the transformations how it's working. So each and when you are applying each and every transformations, what is output data you are getting, try to compare with your source, how it's differ, what exactly the transformation is doing. So check everything with a set of transformations. That is hope will give a more knowledge on your the Spark data frame. And that might be of one of the interview questions. And the interviewer may ask like what kind of transformation you have used in this work project. Okay, that time. So if you the first question, whatever the you said the previous question answer no, like what is the data frame API you have used in your project? Data frame or RED. Okay, if we say data frame, so in the second question you need to give that list of transformation whichever you can apply in top of data frame. Okay, to use that, if you say I'm using in RED API in my project means you should give that list of RED transformations. Okay, so you should not don't get confused in this way, because whatever the interview I took, no, the people will say that data frame I have used, but whenever they list out, they ask I ask to list out that transformation whatever you use in your project. So they include like some R related transformation also. That's not correct. Got it? Any question until this? So the same kind of stuff we try to do with RD. How that when I do RD, how it is differ. So we will see one by one. But data frame it's a very easier, just kind of SQL work. But to do the RD, you want to do the you want to check lot of stuff. You want to do the lot of coding also. So any questions on that? So I'll give a 5 minutes just to take a. If you have any question about data frame, about the Spark session or Spark whatever we have created, about the project, you can ask.
ஜி ஹைவ்ல கொஸ்டின்ஸ் கொஞ்சம் இருக்கு. ஹலோ,
Yeah, yes, tell me.
ஹைவ்ல வந்து so if we load CSV file to Hive, so what is the default file format? Is it Hive text file format or?
No. So it is depends on what are the file format you have used in a Hive when you're creating Hive table. Okay. So in Hive, if you take a Hive, okay, in HDFS, Hive nothing but data storing in HDFS only. Okay. So whatever that the possible format for Hive in the HDFS means we have a text file format and we have a sequential file format, Parquet file format, ORC file format, Aviro file format. So a lot of more than 6 or 7 file format we have. Okay. So but which will decide means, but the user need to take a decision which file format you are going to store your Hive data, whether sequential or Parquet or ORC. You want to choose the file format initial stage itself when you're creating a Hive table, and you want to use that file format to create a Hive table. So now whatever input you have in a CSV, that is not a big deal. Okay, any input can be any format, but when once you are loading into the Hive table, whatever Hive table have a file format, that will be converted to the particular file format. For example, your input file is CSV file format, as you said, okay, but you as a user, so you have to go with ORC file format to create a Hive table. So when you creating Hive table, your Hive table you will mention the serial name is a ORC. Okay, that means the table is a ORC table. So when you load data from CSV to that particular Hive table, your input format is CSV. Okay, once you load the data, that Hive will convert that CSV data into the ORC file format. Then it will store to the ORC file format. Okay, so to answer for your question, it depends on what file format you have in your Hive table.
Okay, so CSV is not allowed in Hive, like.
No, we don't have any CSV file format in Hive. So we have a text file format only. I'm not saying it's not allowed. Okay, it is a depends on user and depends on project. So whenever I said no, like whenever the based on your use case, You need to take a decision which API you are going, which file format you are going, whether it's ORC or CSV or ORC. Imagine if you want to go with a text file, is it okay? You can go with the CSV data directly. You can upload it CSV data into the text file format. Okay, so as a user, as a project, as an architect, you want to take a decision whether which file format you are going to store your Hive table. So there is a pros and cons between this file format. You want to take a look, and it depends on your scenario will demand which file format you want. Okay, for example, so you are going to load a data into your Hive table. The data size is huge, but you are more concerned about the read part. So whenever the user reading should be you should get the higher performance for the user. So you need a user satisfaction. In that part, you can choose the ORC file format. So the ORC file format used to give that fast read. The read will be very fast compared to other formats. When you are writing, so you need a more performance to writing. So the user interaction will be very less. But read is not a big deal for me. So I need write performance. So that sense you can go the Pocket file format. So like each and every formats, you have some pros and cons. So based on your requirement, based on your priority, you can choose the whichever file format you want.
And then one more question, Ji.
Yeah.
So I don't have Hive in my system, so I cannot work with like Spark and Hive, like connecting Hive from Spark. So if I have to connect Hive, so I have to like add the dependency in the spt build.spt, and then I have to when I create Spark session, I have to add like dot enable Hive support. And do I have to add .config like spark.sql.warehouse directory? Do I have to add any configuration there
No,
while
no,
I
no, no.
create Spark
So
session?
that is depends. And earlier versions, you need to do that kind of stuff. But the recent version, whatever the 2.3, whatever version I have used, no, that version just enable the enable Hive support is enough. But the Spark cluster, whatever the Spark cluster you have, and whatever the Hive cluster you have, that should be in a single mission. For example, your mission you have a Spark cluster. If you have a Hive cluster in another mission, that's not possible to connect.
Okay.
Spark and Hive cluster should be in a single one mission. Then only you able to connect
So
directly.
if a Hive is in another mission, so do we still like use any other configuration to connect, or we cannot connect at all?
Yeah, that time it is kind of cross cluster only. It is always Hadoop. It is preferred to connect that within a cluster only. Cross cluster almost will not support in for
Oh,
that time, how you want to do means in a Hadoop side, you want to merge these two clusters. That means you want to enable that Hadoop cluster to interact with the other clusters. You want to enable support from the Hadoop side, then that you can use in a Spark.
okay, okay. So after I create Spark session, so I can use this like for example val data frame equal to Spark session dot SQL in order to like select the
Yeah,
data from Hive, correct?
yeah. The
Spark
Spark
session.
session at SQL used to do that all the Spark SQL related stuff. Okay.
Okay,
So
okay,
whenever you are creating a Hive table, that Hive table by default will available in Spark SQL. It is the same cluster. I'm telling. The
okay,
same cluster by default will available in a Spark SQL DB. Okay. So then you can directly interact with your Spark session.sql query.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other question? So give a minute. I'll take some water. So any other question? Just 5 minutes. Yeah, yes, I hope no one have a question. So same stuff now we can do the data frame. Just I'll comment this already the data frame code. Sorry, in already the data frame code. Just I will comment it and my heat is not working. Okay. So now I need to enable this RD code. The first I'm going to create a RD. Okay, I'm going to create a RD. The same way. So here I'm creating one more data frame. The read AEF read CSV RD. I'll give RD. So here same I need a SDF. Here I need to give an implicitly is the RDD. I don't think so. RD will return, otherwise it will return as a data set also. In this data set, so let me search for error. One minute. I'll create a here and I'll come to know that what is the exact tools I'm using. I'll go to my main driver and I'll create a RDD. So this is the way I can create a RDD. So here I will pass the RDC path because the Spark it depends on version whether RDD will support dataset will support. And I'll try 1 minute. I'll try with first local and then I'll create RDD first. So here I don't want to use Spark and already I have extract the Spark and at Spark context and using SC, so I can directly say SC.text file. Okay. So now just I want to read this data frame. Just I want to print this data frame. So where in data frame how we did with so in the same way already we have a collect. Okay. So just I'll see that return method. What is the return method here? Is using it is already of string. So the same way here I want to use that I said no. Okay. This will work. So now Now I written already the same way. Just I'm calling a frame here. Okay. Now already one. So now just I want to do the collect. Okay, just I'll do the print dot collect. Collect. Just I will run. Sometimes in serialization format, I'll check if it is serialization. We'll check how to do the deserialization. Yeah, it is in serialization format. So if you want, you just connect to the two sequence and serialization. So it is showed as a different file. You can get three for the product sale and everything, the three rows. And here now I try to convert to I try to split into the multiple things. Okay, multiple each and everything. So I try to split into the multiple because product sale there should be different things. And here if you take my first row is the row. My first row is header. Actually, I want to remove my header. Correct? I want to remove my header. So where header equal to RD RDD1 equal to head first. That means first will be my header. So then the header I need to split. So if I want to remove the header, so because try to do I try to identify the product, sorry, profit. Okay, that will be sales minus purchase. So now my header also one of the array. So we try to minus that this header also. So that time I need to remove the header. Then I need to append the header. Just I'll try to remove the header. So to remove the header already. Bad. Sorry, this is very worst issue. Now RDD1. So to remove, I need to filter, filter x row x not to then the header. Now I try to print this one as I already. Then we come to whether my header is printed or not. Okay, so my header is I removed my header, correct? So I removed my header. So now what next operations I want to do? So now I want to calculate my profit. So before calculate, if you see this var array, so this all the first row. So each and every row is put into a different array. But if you see the first row, this is seems like a single string. I need to split this string. So to split this string, var again one more var. Var added and yes now I'll show how this will be. And this also I will to sequence. Okay, so now it's came to the different different array. I got it. Okay, so now I want to convert this to that element. So how what I can do means stop doing this one. Yeah, ask me. Just check. I'll tell you what I'm doing. So I tried to create this array of tuple. So now I try to create a setup. So when I create a tuple, it should come in this way: x0 and x1, and I have a three column x2. So I have a three column that I convert to that x0, x1, x2. Okay. So now it will come into the single array. Single array with tuple format. So now I got that array of tuple format. So now I need to calculate my row. So I need to calculate my profit. Okay. So val RDD. Now in this profit, I'm using RDD. Display dot map. Okay. Nothing but it is that iteration operation. Okay, don't do that one. So it is that lambda, whatever the sequence I am giving lambda. So if I want to calculate a profit, okay, so I need to give in this way x 0 x underscore 1 and x star underscore 2 and x dot underscore and so here x dot underscore 3 x dot underscore 3 minus x dot underscore 2. Sorry, I'm disconnected.
Dinesh, screen got.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
disconnected. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it is very interesting. Okay. So everyone able to see my screen?
Yes, Dinesh.
Yeah. Okay. So now I will do it. Okay. Now the second and what I did first I split my array. My I think my internet is unstable. Can you hear me, Khalid?
Yes, Dinesh. No problem. You take your time.
Yeah, no, my internet is unstable. I think so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so just to see my, I'm going to complete this one. Able to see my screen?
Yes. Now we are able to see this.
Yeah. So the first step, just whatever the first, I'll explain whatever. First, I'll show that profit. Okay, whatever the answer I had, I show it. I'll show to you, but then I'll explain what I did. Row by row, I will explain the code. I have calculated my profit 20, 2000, 2000, 1000. Okay. So first I'll go. The first step, line number 18. So line number 18, nothing but I read the data from CSV to RDD. Okay. So here example, I gave that same CSV I read as a data frame and RDD. Okay. If you take any operation, is it possible in a data frame and RD also? Some of the operations. Okay. Most of the operations are data and RD. Here you set and your requirement will decide whether you want to use the data frame or RDD. So that is the purpose I think I'm cutting out. So is it able to see? I think I'm cutting out frequently. My connection, my call is disconnecting, connecting, reconnecting. So everyone able to see and able to hear me?
We are able to hear you, but we are not able to see your screen, Dinesh. Now. Yeah, just
Stop
now it is.
share and I'll share again. I think it's taking a time to. So now able to see everyone.
Uh, yeah, now you have started the. Yeah, now it's able to see. We are able to see the screen.
Yeah, okay. So the first step I read as a from CSV I read as a RDD. So here from the CSV I'm able to read as a data frame. I'm able to create a data frame also. I'm able to create a RDD also. So any data set is possible to create a both. Even data set will demand which one you want to use. And the step number two, in the CSC, the first row is a header. So whenever I'm doing some operation, ask me. Ask me. When 1 minute, I'll switch to other internet. It's maybe stable.
Okay.
So I switch another network. Can you able to hear me now?
Yes, Dinesh.
It's
Yes,
still
now it's
it's still
clear. Yeah, we are able to
yeah
see the
okay.
screen.
Yeah, okay. So the step number two, I said I want to pick that what is my header. To pick the first row, I need to use the RED at first. For RED at first is one of the um, RED first is the one of the action, one of the transformation and action transformation, which is try to get the first row. Okay, so I got the first row. Then I need to split that. I need to filter the first row from my data set. For that one, just already row one, and I gave that filter conditions which not equal to header means. And other than header, all other row will be stored into my this my particular variable. Okay, got it. So then here I'm splitting my variable like my data set already in here I have a row, multiple row, and each row I have a 3 columns. Okay, 3 columns I have that um, so each row have a 3 columns. I have that product name, sale and purchase, 3 rows. So 3 rows, it is splitted in that comma delimiter only. So that is the purpose. Map means will iterate a row by row, and each row I will split to the comma. So I'm doing one more map, and once I split, I'll get an array only. So that I'll split into the convert into the array of array. You see that output I'll get array of array. So instead of doing that, I'll convert to the from the array of array to array tuple. Okay. So now this is that array tuple I have created. So this is that my already profit. So now I want to calculate my already of profit. So to calculate already profit again, the x1 it is a product, x2 it is that say purchase, x3 it is that my sale. So to calculate a profit again x3 minus x2, here I gave the 2 int because my data set is a string. So to convert to the 2 int, and I will able to collect. Now I'm getting a 2000. Okay. So now this already, how to convert into this already, how to convert into the data frame. Okay. So now I'll show that to convert these two into the data frame. And okay. And here I want to do the implicit import implicit. I want to do this implicity to convert. Okay. So now well already, so that filter I will show you. I'll filter and I'll show you, then I'll convert to that so whatever the filter I did no in the data frame, more than greater than 1000, that filter I will do. First I will convert to that RDD to DF. Then so when I'm convert to the RDD DF, the same Here I want to do in this way. RD underscore profit dot collect dot to sequence. Here I'll give a profit. Okay. So now I will comment, otherwise I'll show this one RD.df. Sure. Now I will run it. The same data set will convert to that to data frame also. Able to see the same data frame, correct? So able to see the profit. So now here again I'm applying the filter and this. Whatever this in the data frame I have applied a filter greater than how it's reflected in data frame equal to 1 and less than. So now just I'll show I'll get only one row. That's my final output. So this is the result set, whatever we have seen a data frame. See the 1000 only I'm getting, only one row I'm getting. So everyone on the line. So this is one use case. We saw that how to use data frame and how to use that RDD. Both we saw that one use case. Same transformation, how to apply and the data frame and how to apply RDD. If you see that the data frame just a 3-line code, it is a very simple one. But RDD want to do a lot of iterations and so a lot of code you want to write in RDD. And data frame with the process is also parallel processing and RED is iteration processing. All the maps and filters are everything iteration only. Any question difference between RED and data frame? Any question? Is it everyone clear how everyone able to understand what I did in this session?
Any questions,
So this
others?
is the way we want to work the project. So it may be we can't continue this like we want to jump onto the project Spark project session. So this is the real-time project will be in this shape and this format only. So who and all already we have completed a Spark session, so already data frame everything. So try to create a project and try to work with, try to pick a use case and work with the project. So hereafter the upcoming session, it might be the interview related sessions, how you can attend the interview and those kind of stuff you want to improve yourself, and the project, how you want to go into, how you are planning to do the project, and what kind of project you're going to do, and because in the interview point of view, you want to example. So a lot of questions might be received on top of your project. So that should be that you need to focus on. So that's it. The sparks and whatever we have seen in the previous in-person classes and these classes. So any question? So just this is the time to move on Spark project. Any questions? Any questions?
Any questions on Spark? Please ask Dinesh.
And Khalil, from the next week, we can go with that whatever the new batch we have, no, we can go with Scratch. And parallel
Okay.
this, who and all the completed Spark, no Spark, and any other tools still we want to see that remaining in the Spark components. Just let me Khalil knows, let Khalil know this one. Whatever the component you want to see, that we can cover it, and might be we can have that half an hour session for only the project purpose. So what's the project kind of discussion? If you want, we can continue the session.
Okay. So next week Saturday, we can see some project related session, Dinesh.
Yeah, okay. But
And
we got some new candidate also, no?
yes, but these no, only old people are there. So I guess no, like you are speaking about this Abdur Rauf Shankar, who has recently joined. Those people.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. So
So if you have that old student only means next week we can start the project discussion. So everyone need to speak up. Next week speak up. So try to bring a project. I'm not talking about a project code. So try to bring a use case for project. So then we will pick that use case. So try to bring everyone at least one use case. So we need to discuss more on that use case, and we try to pick any one project that common for everyone. We can continue to work on that project.
yes,
So
Dinesh, that would be great.
that's it. Our upcoming in the next session plan. Any question? You can call me also. Then otherwise you can call Dinesh and Khalil also.
Okay.
That's it, Khalil, today.
Okay. Thank you, Dinesh. Thank you all. Thank you for the session. And this recording, no, we'll have it posted there. Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.